All right. We are live. Fantastic. Let's just make sure we're showing up on everybody else's lives, right? All right. Here we are. We are live. Fantastic. Here we go. Let's do what we always do best.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to the Geeks of Bel Air. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Duke of Bel Air.
There it is. One of my favorite things.
Are we going live?
We are live, sir. Yes, we are.
On the YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Yep, there we are. It might be hard to see in the background.
You gotta mute your TV.
Everything's muted.
There
You're not gonna be able to see it. It's too bright back there.
It's good. All right. Awesome, guys. Welcome. It is another fantastic Wednesday. I am the one and only, the Duke of Bel Air. And this is my great friend, Matt Meade. We met him a little bit last week. You got to see him a little bit better now, not so blurry. We are gonna do like we normally do today. We're gonna give a nice story, and Matt's gonna be the one that shares. We do have it on YouTube and Facebook. So if you guys are in here, come on and chat with us, and we will see what you guys got going on. We'll be able to answer questions for you guys.
Ads.
All right. Sorry. I forgot to mute the live. There we go. So now I got everybody's on. There we go. Good to go. So Matt, it's all yours, man. If you want to take it away and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Matt, most of you know me. Born and raised right here. Well, back down there in Leesburg. Forgot I'm not there sometimes anymore. Been up in South Carolina for 13 years now. Kind of seems like forever. Kind of a ghost to most people down there anymore. It's funny. I go home sometimes and just feel like you don't know anyone when you go out in a public place anymore. Nobody knows who you are, which is kind of nice sometimes, but sometimes it's lonely feeling that you had a reputation, had a, just a image back home growing up that, people seem to gravitate to, and kind of miss it sometimes. It's a little bit lonely growing up, moving away.
Yeah, it's tough. Especially for people like you and me where, you have those friends. I was writing some stuff the other day, and I thought of like your friendships aren't, I've known this guy for like 3 months. No, I've known this guy since elementary school, middle school, those kind of friendships that you have forever, which just shows your character. Like, even though things happen in life, you're still friends with those kind of people because they know you, and they want to see your, what happens. But it makes it hard sometimes where, nicknames and things like that to, all right, guys, I'm not that age anymore. Let's get off of that. Or, but
yeah, that's a hard one. Sometimes you got things that you'll never outlive. And, sometimes when people see, it's just some type of memory that you're really not too proud of or something, something that they remember you by. It's the first thing. It's like, hey, man, it's my dude, Matt. I grew up with this guy, man. We went to school together. And I remember this one time. It's like the first time they say something as they're introducing me to somebody in their clique that I don't know. It's like just the worst story that, you could possibly try to introduce somebody telling, I think they think it's funny that, hey, we're grown up now, chances are this person isn't like this anymore. But a lot of times people don't know that. And the first thing they hear about you is some crazy ass story, it's weird sometimes.
Yeah. Lucy, thanks for joining us. We're just introducing. No, you're good. Matt's just introducing himself, giving him a little rundown. So we're getting ready to get into the, the story where it started. Matt, how old were you when when you know like the bad side of life. How old were you when the big stuff started hitting you?
I was pretty young. I was pretty young. I was really young. My biological father killed himself when I was just a kid, and my mom never shied away from telling me that. I knew about it from a real young age, and I guess about the time I was 8, my little brother was born, and that whole dynamic started changing around the house. I wasn't the only kid, and I had certain feelings about things, and always wondered, like when things were bad, it was like, what if my dad was still around? And it fucks me up today. So despite how life has been good, and despite the good things about life, it still fucks me up. So
yeah,
right off the rip.
I have my parents, and I
love
am
you too, Taylor.
I am different in that aspect than a lot of my friends, but a lot of my friends only had one parent, and so I grew up around it, and I can't even put myself in the situation of that, but I see how you are with your kids, and it's one of those things where it's like, I know that was trauma, but man, your kids they have an amazing dad because of those things, and like, even, we've talked, we both have older daughters that, wanted to do their own thing now, they don't want to, mine has, come around, we're talking and stuff and having a good time. So that's good, but it wasn't at first, it was nerve wracking, 18, graduate high school. And she was like, okay, bye. I'm like, what do you mean bye? Where are you going? Like, what's your plan? I don't know, so that was tough. And it sucks to go through that kind of stuff. Teenage girls, is hard to be a dad, because they don't want anything to do with you. But you instilled all that stuff. So that's what I'm seeing now. Our conversations with her are about, oh, Dad, I see what you're saying about this. Oh my goodness, Dad, this happened the other day. And so I see the things I instilled in her coming to, and she's seeing it. And I know that's going to be the same way with you, with your older daughter. It's just the sucky time right now. But then, you got your younger kids. I heard the one saying goodnight when we first got here. Had to say their goodnights. But
last year's been really rough on me. My oldest daughter, she's a lot just like me, a lot in a lot of ways, personality wise. I've got custody of her when she was 10 months old, shared custody, and at first she couldn't come up to South Carolina with me because of the 50-mile radius. Couldn't live more than 50 miles away from the other parent. And after a couple years, went back to court and was able to plead my case and get her to come live with us full time up here in South Carolina. But she just turned 14 and last month, and the first birthday I wasn't around her since she was born, and Christmas was the first time. She's got the same thing, she's got a big age difference between her and her little sister, and her little sister, she can be a pest, but she's a kid, and it's affected Olivia a lot, and I haven't been I don't know if I've been reacting to things the way I should be sometimes for her, even when I think back of the way things were for me, and having a step parent around, and I thought that I'd be able to do a lot better, with this situation, having grown up in the same situation, and I don't think I did a good job.
I think you did do a good job. I think that unfortunately, you just said it. You guys are like each other, so you're going to headbutt. And 14 to 18 is the worst. I remember my sister can tell you, I would be on the phone like Lorelai, in like her senior year, just not going like you have to graduate. You're a senior. You have to get a D to graduate. Like, why aren't you doing homework? Why aren't you turning this stuff in? What is going on? And just, I mean, every day I had to be on top and just like checking it. What did you talking to teachers? Hey, what happened? Did she do her work? Why aren't you listening? You know, those kind of things. And it paid off. She graduated, you know, and, you know, then we were butting heads about what you're going to do now. And so, but now that we've sat back down, I said, look, you know what I want out of for you. You know, I want you to be better than I was. That's it. So you graduate high school. You're 18. That was my job as a dad, right? I that was my goal. So now, instead of arguing with you every time we talk and I never get to see you, and then your siblings don't get to see you, I'm not going to talk about that stuff anymore. You can just tell me about what's going on at your work and stuff like that. We'll have fun and we won't talk about that. But no, if you say something and I roll my eyes, don't get mad at me because I'm biting my tongue. But you know I want better. If you're saying, oh, I'm doing this, I'm always going to say I want this. So I've just stepped back, and that's been the last couple months. It lasts like 3 months, so it's been rough, but it's, you know, especially when she's like, you know, talking about her bills. Oh, I got this and this and this, and I make this much money at my job, and I'm like, oh, go to school, you know, go to cosmetology, go in the military for 2 years, you know, sign up in the Air Force or Navy, go to the National Guard, let them pay for, you know, but and I said, look, I'm not going to hound you about these things, but it's yours, you know, it's your life. These are your options. I'm going to be here and I'm going to, you know, I'll be here for you. But so that's kind of what I like for you. I would say is for your youngest daughter, tomorrow, tonight you can go in there and hug her and just talk to her and she's not going to remember. It's because anything, you know what I mean? But for the older one, just that, even if it's not a phone call, that text, look, let's just not talk about what we're doing. I just want to know how you are. How is life? Are you good? Do you need anything? You know? And because everything you've put into her head, it's there. But the nicer you are, it's just going to remind her like, all right, well, he's being nice to me, so I can't bitch at him. You know what I mean? So she's going to now confide in you, talk to you about other people, and you just gotta be like, ooh, that's crazy. How'd you do with that? You know, like she calls me and talks to me about people at her work, like customers, and she's like, they're so creepy. This guy was creepy. So it's like for me to you, you know, knowing you so long, that's one thing I would tell you. No, don't let, like you said, she's not here. Well, that's okay. One phone call, one text, boom, you've now made that step, and don't let that hinder you because you're an amazing person and you've established her, you know, you've put in the work. So don't let that get you down. And I know you, the kind of person that wears it, you know, but you got to know you're a good dude, and everything else that you've been through, you can't let this be the thing. You know what I mean? Like you're too good for that. So you got to be like, all right. Or you can always say, if Travis did it, I can do it. Fuck it. Travis is a dork. I can. That's how I look at it. You know, if I did it, you can do it. Like I'm nobody special, but you just got to get out of your head, and you just got to say, okay, it's the hardest thing I did, but
cuts deep when it's your kids, man.
It does.
All the other shit, you know, jail, getting detention centers growing up, you know, I mean, it's none of that compares to the cut that, you know, you feel from your kids. And I gave it to my parents, you know, I gave, God dang did I give it to them, you know, more so than I've got it, you know, way more. But, you know, I still love her, you know, she's my daughter. She was my little partner. Anybody, you know, everybody who used to ever be around me, you know, she was always with me everywhere I went, you know, tattoo shops. I mean, just everywhere wasn't because she had to be with me, you know, it's just, that was my little partner. And try the things different with my youngest. She's about to be 6, and she's a handful. But I guess all I can do is try a little bit different with her. While still trying to not change certain core values about what needs to go on, and at least within inside the walls of this house. And definitely don't ask for much, not compared to what my parents asked for and what most of our parents asked for growing up. Don't ask for much at all. Keep your room clean, do good in school, and don't backtalk. Yes ma'am, yes sir, and no ma'am, no sir. It's pretty simple.
Can I just say, when you said that, about how you feel like you did a bad job as a parent, I feel like that we are our own worst critics in life, and not just you or me. I feel like everyone is like that. And being a parent, I feel like we're twice as hard on ourselves because we don't want to fuck our kids up. It's like we want to, like you said, do better than what our parents did, or what, when you have other people's lives in your hands like that, yeah, we tend to be a little bit hard on ourselves. But you have to remember too, like, you have to show yourself some grace and some compassion, because when you do that, it teaches our kids that it's okay to be easy on ourselves and that we are doing a good job, even though we don't feel like we're doing a good job, if that makes sense.
It's hard to combat what we got to deal with, and by all means, anybody who knows me, I'm cool with everybody. I've always been able to just be cool with everybody until I'm just not cool with you. I mean, that's just, but just the whole society that we live in today, everything's, you can't, I guess, just to put it simply, you can't have a traditional identity anymore. Traditionally, meaning, you can't just be a guy or a girl. You can't just be, a Christian. You can't just be, pretty much anything that's not been relabeled over the last 5 or 6 years. And I think that they've got a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Especially with social media.
The self-identity that gets pushed on them, if you can't, they see somebody that they like, or a group of people that they like, and that group of people tends to voice their opinion one way, then, whether you believe it or not, you just kind of want to fit in. And I don't know how to deal with the stuff that
yeah, it's a lot.
I feel like where you got to voice your opinion, but you have to voice it in your house to your family, and that's the rules. But if you don't, you voice it out, then it's no good. Being a Christian that has children, the minute I say Christian or that's not my belief, then I'm a bigot. I'm like, whoa, I'm not a bigot. Just I have my beliefs.
I told Olivia from the earliest age, I don't care who you love. I don't care what color that person is. I don't care what their religion is. Actually, I do care what their religion is. But I don't care, if it's a man or a woman, if what their color is, as long as that they're treated with the respect that they deserve, because men can be shitty to women, women can be shitty to women. We're all shitty to each other, I don't think any classification of what type of relationship somebody's in has it any easier than the other, but to just feel like you have to identify with something before you've ever experienced anything in life,
like puberty.
And
a lot of it's pre-puberty. It's nothing that they even experience any kind of life or romantic relationship whatsoever. It's immediate,
And that's
like
what
you
makes
said.
it hard.
Yeah, it's like you're saying. I said the same thing to my daughters. I said, I don't care who you love, as long as they respect you. And if they ever hurt you, I'm going to jail, no matter if it's a man, a woman, white, black, Chinese, it doesn't matter. If they hurt you, I'm going to take care of that. But I don't care, as long as they're respectful to you. That's it. Like you said, that's the bottom line. But I'm dealing with it, these kids in elementary school and middle school. I'm like, well, hold on. Like, you can't, hold on. You guys got to like at least have a boner before you can decide, who you're going to be with for the rest of your life and make physical changes to your body before you're even 18. You can't even smoke cigarettes anymore until you're 21, but you can do that at 12. Like,
I can't even imagine, like, when we grew up, I can't imagine having like this much technology at my fingertips. I mean, I'll be 39 this year, and I find myself comparing myself to people on the internet, and I'm 39. I can't imagine being 14, 15, 16, having to compare myself to all these people, and how bad that could make someone feel. Like they don't want to be themselves, so of course they want to change who they are. Social media makes it hard.
Yeah, I think you definitely hit it. I mean, I think just the internet in general, I think that's why most of our generation, I mean, as cool as everything that's changed in the last 20 years, 15 years, I think that the internet was probably the worst thing that could ever happen to us. I mean, obviously that, now we have ways of finding out maybe truths that we weren't aware of, or semi-truths that we were only aware of. We're able to find a little bit more about this and a little bit more about that. But I think we get very little of the extra truth, things that we were taught in school, things that we're finding out now that, might not necessarily been the entire truth. It might have been, say whitewashed, whatever you want to say. There are instances that we've grown up and learned that, well, that ain't what they taught us in school, but like I said, I think there's very little of the truths out there, and there's so many more lies out there. And when you have this internet and you have this world that says, well, you can't trust the mainstream media, which you can't, you can't really trust them all. But then you start looking at all these other things that are nowhere near mainstream, and you get people who fall for, like, they post shit from The Onion, and they just see that tagline and they're like, can you fucking believe this? And forget whatever other type of issues or these kids are facing in school that we don't even know about, and then they go online and they're researching this or researching that. And, it's like you were saying, that not caring who they love, respect them. And if they don't, they're going to have to deal with me. And I think that's what gets me so riled up, is because I've had these instances where, I made the mistake and let her have a phone when she was 12, maybe 11 and a half, and getting on like Roblox. And there would be these just weird, nasty chats going on within a video game. And it was, stop using Roblox. Well, she loved playing that game. And no matter how I beat into her head that you can't do this, this opens the door up for predators, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't understand that. She's just like, no, fuck you. I'm going back to playing Roblox. And then you catch her, and then you take this and you take that. And it's like, I can't remember the last time I spanked her. So it's just take this, take that. Well, you lose this privilege. You lose this. You can't drive the golf cart no more. You can't go to your friend's house. You can stay in your room, blah, blah, blah. Extra chores. Go pick up dog shit in the backyard. Something, I mean, it's something fairly passive, but you get to this point where they're just like, they're going to find their way to do it. Just like I found my way to do it, just like we all did.
Yeah, it's almost like an addiction.
But, what happened?
No, I'm agreeing.
I was saying that the kids with the internet and the games and stuff, it's almost like an addiction.
Can y'all see me? Hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. You're still there. So,
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, I think so. Matt, can you still hear us?
Are y'all there?
Yes. Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Exactly. So, taking the phone away is emotional. You know, it's so emotional to them. It's like they can't live without it. You know, my sister's, you know, it's my sister saying that, but it's true. When Lorelai was doing that, I took the phone and, you know, just the words that are coming out of her mouth when you take that phone, you're like, whoa, 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 you know. It's crazy. It's crazy. But Matt, like when you're, so we had, you know, the Nokia when I was 16, those phones started coming out, you know, those kind of things. We didn't have what it is, you know. If I wanted to know what happened on wrestling, I had to wait till Monday night. Now I can just tell you what the guy's eating today and who's going to show up, what, you know, spoilers. Like you said, it's all at their fingertips right now. There's no waiting. There's no planning or putting in effort to get to this here because it's right now. And they don't see anything past right now. It's the hardest thing to combat. But when it's like for us, it was other things. I know you were talking about when you were about, you know, 8 and started struggling, but when you got into, like, when did you start smoking cigarettes and being that kind of thing? Like you're talking about the getting in trouble like that. How old were you when you started getting in trouble?
It wasn't much long after that, you know. I mean, my stepdad, you know, I love him, you know, I call him, I'm saying stepdad for the clarification of anybody who's watching and didn't hear the beginning, you know, not my biological father, but the man I call dad. I've always called him dad. He raised me ever since I was, you know, just a little over a year old. But from a young age, you know, like he'd let me get the little ring of dip in his Hawkins can, you know, or little shit that was left around that bottom ring. And I mean, I was dipping at 4 or 5 years old, not much, you know, but just, I had that nicotine in my system from a young age. And that's kind of sometimes what parents from the 70s and early 80s did. So, you know, it wasn't no surprise that by, you know, 10, maybe 11, I was stealing cigarettes from them. And don't mess around and get a carton, you know, because I figured out your ways to just, you know, take 4 or 5 packs out, take one out in the middle and strategically pace them back in there to make it look like everything's all copacetic. And, you know, I'd get you, you know. And I mean, I guess that probably just really started the defiance, you know, side of Matt, you know, just doing what I knew I wasn't supposed to do. I think it started at a pretty young age. And most people know that it progressed pretty fast from there, you know. I mean, I was never the guy who broke into your house and, you know, did all types of atrocious crimes, but, you know, I had sticky fingers when I was a kid, and, you know, Walmart catch me quite a bit, you know. And I mean, that was really about the gist of it, and until Miss Onsted's car in Leesburg High parking lot, which is what a lot of people like to mention, you know, one of those great introductions I'd care to not remember, you know. That was probably my big thing, but outside that, you know, everything that I did was pretty petty, just simple ding dong ditch type shit, you know, kick your trash cans over in the middle of the night while me and boys are cruising around on their bikes and, you know, yelling obscenities at old people and trying to get teenagers who drove cars, you know, to, you know, flick them off and try to get them to chase us down in their cars while we're on bikes. And, you know, I mean, just rambunctious boy stuff. But, you know, we also didn't have nothing to do back then either. And that's no excuse for anything that I've ever done. But, you know, compared to all the shit that these kids got today, skate parks and trampoline parks and just anything, you know, I mean, I can't believe that a lot of kids are getting in trouble because there's just so much that you could be doing to not get in trouble, and yet you're choosing trouble. Like, we didn't have much of anything to do growing up, so it was either trouble or, you know, no trouble. I mean, there was no in between. Maybe you were either going to be good or you're going to be bad.
Well, you knew where I lived, and I went to school every day because there was nothing else. I lived on 5 acres in the middle of nowhere, and back then the villages is not what it was or what it is. You know, it was
back then.
Yeah, it was just cow pastures, and oh my goodness, and oh my gosh. So I would go to school because there was nothing to do. We didn't have cable because they wanted like a goddamn amount of money to run the line from our. It was, you know, probably a good 2 acres in. And my dad's like, no. So we had Channel 9. You know, we had a little antenna. So we had like Channel 9 and maybe Channel 2. I just remember Ranger Rick on the afternoons on Fox. We had that. And then my dad got like a dish. When satellites started coming out, we got a satellite dish. I was finally able to watch wrestling again. But there was nothing out there. So I would go to school. I'm going to school. And then all my friends lived in the city, you know. So it's always like, they're like, hey, let's go to your house. I'm like, why? There's nothing to do. Hello, I want to, you know, I want to go to y'all's house. You guys can like walk around and stuff, not worry about getting eaten by animals. No coyotes. But yeah, it's crazy that, you know, I love growing up there. I loved being out, just running around, you know, me and my dog, you know, just going out there, doing whatever. We used to, when we started learning how to drive, you remember the back 40, as we always called it. There's that tree, and to this day, that tree still has that permanent ring around it to where I knew how to make a left turn because you're just getting one of the cars that Dad had that we learned how to drive in and just do circles. You know, so this is permanent ring around this tree in the back. That's perfect because there's nothing around it. So you wouldn't wear it, you know, as long as you just kept your wheel turned, you would just keep going and you wouldn't hit anything. But that's how we grew up. And it's paintball. Then paintball came out. So, you know, we played paintball. I mean, I had the perfect house for it. And it was a lot of fun. It was just, you know, I'm a lot younger than my brother. Not too much. But I would always, you know, want to go out with him, you know, going camping, as they used to say. Basically just everybody parked their car and there's a little bonfire and, you know, but I loved being around him, you know, with you. And, you know, I remember, I don't know if you remember the, what was it? The old butcher building or the old slaughterhouse. Matt, do you remember that?
On 25?
Yeah. No, on 27, south of the city. It's like right where the city started.
There's no.
Yeah, South 27.
Yeah, over behind the bowling alley, the old meat packing plant. I don't remember what it used to be called.
No. The one that's like right before you get in. You know, when you start getting into Leesburg now, where there's housings. It's like when it was nothing. It was just
yeah, right. Everywhere in Leesburg now, right?
Yeah, but there was a little tiny like railroad track bridge, and it led into the woods into this block kind of building, but it was all torn apart. It was like some blocks and that. It was like, do you remember that building?
I'm trying to picture it.
I just remember going. My brother let me go with you guys. And I just remember following you guys being so scared because they had to walk on this little tiny bridge over a little creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was south of the pier. I don't want to call it what the only name I know it as. Yeah. The pier. It's south of that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Right when you pass it, you come up to the pier. Like
get you canceled 5 shows in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the pier. It's the pier on 27. So, but yeah, I just remember that. I remember going with you guys, and I was so cool, because I was hanging out with you guys. Everybody, my brother and you guys smoke cigarettes, and you guys are smoking cigarettes, and you guys, you want one? I'm like, no, I'm good. Because I was like, I don't want to smell like cigarettes. My mom can smell that shit on you. You walk in, she's like, what's that?
Oh yeah.
She used to bust my brother all the time.
I mean, I smoke cigarettes, and if I haven't smoked a cigarette in 10 minutes, I can smell somebody who just smoked a cigarette, and it's like, I don't know why I ever thought that shit worked. When I came home. It's like, they smoke cigarettes, they'll never know. Like, I mean, I remember they pretty much never said anything to me other than the occasional, did you steal a pack of cigarettes? No, not me.
Silly.
I remember my mom found out what store that Bob Zippy right there on Main Street and East Main, West Main. Yeah, right before South Street.
Yeah,
that other one. Yeah, she found out who was selling them, and she went there and scared the living crap out of the owner. If you sell my son any more cigarettes, I'm gonna kill you. My brother's like, I can't buy cigarettes. That's how my mom was. She found out who sold them and put the fear of God in them.
Yeah, my mom had the tendency of thinking that my friends were the bad influence, and she just didn't really understand that that it was me the whole time. You try to tell them it's not them, Mom. It's not them. You don't admit that it's you, but you're definitely like, it's not them. But, no parent wants to think that their kid is the bad kid, even when you know that they are. And she knew I was, but it's easier to blame the one or two older friends, and by older, a year older, maybe a year and a half older. It wasn't like I was hanging with people 4 and 5 years older than me, but it's just, Josh, I mean, hell, old Hank in there, he's over here commenting on YouTube. I can almost guarantee you that I probably had him smoke his first cigarette. Probably one of his first ones, stealing cigarettes from his mom at the bowling alley. Seriously, like, his mom would have one of them little cigarette purses and shit, and they'd always leave them on the back rail at the bowling alley, and we just kind of sneak by and peel fucking Virginia Slim out or something, smoking a Misty, in the bushes at a bowling alley somewhere,
I just remember when I went into high school, my brother said, hey, listen, you're going to go into high school now. I'm like, yeah. He said, I'm going to tell you this once. You say you're better than I am and you don't want to be like me. I was like, yeah, I don't like you, because, he's now out of high school. We weren't friends sometimes, it happens. He said, I'm going to tell you this. He said, I've never been arrested, so you can't get arrested, because then that makes you not better than me. He said, I smoked cigarettes and I drank in high school. You're not allowed to do that if you want to be better than me. He said, if I find out that you're smoking or drinking or doing stupid shit, he's like, I'm going to come back from Gainesville and I'm going to beat your ass. And I believed him. So I was like, okay. So like all through high school, I never smoked, never drank, never did anything. And I got out of high school. I graduated. And I was like pretty proud of myself. I was like, I did it. Like, woo, So now whatever I do, I'm 18. I can do it because I want to, right? It wasn't a high school thing that I felt pressured in. But everybody would always say, yeah, why don't you ever do that stuff? A lot of people thought I was a pothead because I'm so, woo, but I wasn't. I was just super friendly, But I always laughed. I would always say, oh, my brother threatened to beat me up if I ever did. And I believed him. Right? So that's how I made it through high school, And I remember when I graduated, he brought me up to Gainesville and got me drunk. He's like, come on, let's go celebrate. You did it. Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah. I didn't even smoke weed for the first time until I think winter break of 9th grade, but just my personality growing up and the shit that I had been through and the wild stuff that kids that I went to school with that saw me do in and out of school, I think they all thought that I was just fucked up the whole time, you know, and you get accused of doing shit that you weren't even doing. And eventually, you know, against everything that I am, well, I don't know if it's against everything that I am, you know, to be honest. I mean, I like to think that I've got stronger morals to just be like, you know, fuck you, you know, don't accuse me of doing shit that I'm not doing, but I don't, you know, I'm just like one of those people. You're going to accuse me enough times that I'm going to go fucking do it, because you're no matter, obviously everything that I'm doing right now has you thinking that for some reason. So what could I possibly do to make you change that opinion of me? Nothing. So, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, reefer wasn't my big thing growing up. You know, I mean, I was straight to the booger sugar, you know, and was on that pretty hard for a while as a young teen, you know, and this, you know, weed was the last thing that I wanted to do. Give me some powder, some hallucinogens, something like that, something to just completely get zooted or just escape reality altogether. You know, I was tired of it, you know. Threw away a promising baseball career, you know. A lot of the people from Freeland Park and stuff, you know, I mean, I was a standout baseball player. And fortunately, my attitude and way I thought about things, and you know, cost me a scholarship, you know, when I was playing my last few years at Mount Dora Bible, and after getting kicked out of Leesburg for Onstead's car thing. So, you know, just, from there, you're just like, fuck it, you know, let's just live life, you know, in the fast lane. Everything is a party from here on out. Like, everything that I ever wanted to be ain't going to happen no more. So let's just hang on and enjoy the ride. And I guess the main thing was just fucking feel like I needed to be the one who had the most respect growing up. You know, it's like you said, we're all villains in somebody's story. You know, I'm a villain in a lot of people's story, unfortunately, and I feel bad about the shit. You know, despite who I am now, you know, if I ever hurt you growing up, you know, be it from physically beating on you or saying something, I truly am sorry, because I know what it's like to hurt, you know, emotionally. I know what it's like to hurt physically, not from getting beat up, but, you know, just physical pain. And, you know, it's like you feel the physical pain now, especially just getting old, and you're just like, fuck, this hurts, man. And you're like, you know, or a toothache, you know, God forbid a fucking toothache. It's like the worst pain ever. And then I think, I'm like, God damn, all the people I've ever punched in the face, like, and like, I inflicted this type of pain on those people, you know, and it's just like, man, what a piece of shit, you know. I mean,
well, you know that saying, Matt, hurt people.
I think about a lot of shit. So, you know, I'm sorry, like I said, to anybody watching, if you're one of those people, I'm sorry.
Well, that's what, you know, the show's about, man. That's what I had started. When I first started, I wanted to, I was tired of not sleeping at night, you know. I was tired of holding on to things that might be the only person that's holding on to it, you know. But when I saw your post talking about you wanted to do something with podcasting, you know, I was like, man, he's got the voice. He's so cool. And I even told you, if you get out of your way and know that you just apologized, so now it's their story. They can accept it or they don't have to, but don't let it sink you. You know what I mean? You just got to let that go, because you're a great dude. For all those bad things that you talk about, I can tell you 100 stories where you were in my life that I thought you were like cooler than anything. You know, there's a few of my brother's friends that I still am close to, because you guys were really cool to me, you know, as a younger brother. You know, some weren't. There's a few of his friends that, you know, I really would never care. But, you know, there's a few of you that I love you guys. And so So that's why when you were like, yeah, let's do it. And last week I had a lot of fun with you on here. I know we didn't really get to talk about you a lot. We just kind of dusted the cobwebs off everything last week. But I told you this earlier. I'm honored that you're here talking, because you keep telling you the stories, and now you're in control of the story. The story's not telling you anymore. You're telling it. It's yours. It doesn't control you. It's in the past. And you're a great guy. You're a great dad. You're a great husband. For all the past things, those are all learning curves that got you to be sitting right here talking to me 20-something years later. That's crazy.
Oh, most definitely.
So I appreciate you being here with me. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun, every episode that you join up, and, with our schedules, it'll be a lot of fun. And you're going to feel it, because I know after I did the one episode with my uncle, and then me and Luce talked, and then me and Eric, I just started feeling better, because I let somebody share their story to other people. And that right there made me feel better. And you're going to see it too. Next week, we'll have somebody else here, and you're going to get to listen, and you're going to get to, give him encouragement or her encouragement. And you're going to understand that, just remember that sometimes it's hard to compliment yourself. So I'm going to compliment you for you, because you're a good dude, man.
I appreciate it. Because, part of thinking about the past, there's a lot of times that I think about, and somebody, says hi or sends me that friend request or something. And, there's not a lot of people. And just to be honest, right here in front of everybody, there's not a lot of you guys I remember, whether it's, for reasons that moment in my life that I wasn't just in my clearest of mindset, but something about me you always remembered. But me being who I was, especially the fighter that I was, and having the reputation of being a fighter, you always wondered, it's like, how many of these people like you because they fear you, and they just don't want to be on your bad side, or, or what, and you wonder that. And I'm sure there's quite a bit of people that, I've come across in my day that were like that. It was just like, just don't want to be on this guy's bad side. And, maybe I didn't give them a fair chance to be themselves, because it was, one of those things, you're either like me or, you're either with me or you're against me. And, I had a solid team of people who were with me, and together I love all these guys to death, still to this day. A lot of them I don't talk to anymore. Some of them still, haven't seemed to grow out of ways that they did 20 years ago. And, but we didn't feed off each other well. We fed into each other. And, we all have done things we're not proud of. And, but like you said, I guess everything that we've done has made us who we are today.
Well, I told you when we talked, the reason why I like to start off with it is to, let it off your chest. We didn't get everything, but we got some good stuff, and you were able to. Other people have been in the situation or know you or knew you, so it's kind of cool. But I never want to end with this. You know what I mean? I don't want that feeling.
Oh.
So this is where I'm going to say, I'm gonna open it up to all my people listening. It's question time, because I got a couple for you, Matt, and then I got a couple for the audience. So one for you is, I know this is hard to switch, but it's better, because then when you hang up and it's over, you're like, hey, it was funny, right? I want you to leave on a good note, so you come back next week and hang out with us and interview the next person, But I don't want you to always be like, oh, I don't want to be on that show again, because it's gonna be talking about bad stuff. So we're gonna go good stuff. Matt, what is your favorite tattoo that you have? Remember that one, Luce?
I mean,
no matter how dumb it is.
It's going to be a mix between either Olivia's name on my throat or my pop-up, my tribute piece with my cardinal on the side of my neck for my pop-up.
What's the dumbest or silliest one you've ever gotten? Yeah, like the
I mean,
I don't even know. Like,
other than those two, pretty much all of them. To be honest, no, my tattoos don't have stories. You know, they don't all mean something. Some of them are just that. Like, why would you do that? I guess the kanjis, the above my, well, I guess the bottom part, you know, kanji's stacked. That's one, and then below the other, and the bottom one touches the tip of my ass crack, and it's the kanji for fart. And
wait. So you have a tramp stamp? Am I?
Oh my god!
I do. I have a tramp stamp.
So is Brock Lesnar. So there you go. You're in the.
Yeah. So it's fart. It's right in my ass crack, and it's brown.
So it was funny because one of my favorite ones that I got was my sister got a little skull and thing. It was a little skull and like a little bow. And it was cute, you know. And I was like, oh, I love it, but I'm not a big skull guy, you know, at the time. So, which is funny because look at my emblem. You're right. I love it, but so I was like, look, I want this, and I, you know, of course, you know, the story is going to end is going to a big Mike story. But he drew this, and there it is. It was my pig and crossbones because I was a cop, and you got your bacon, your donut, and your coffee. You got your handcuffs, nightstick, and he said, if you let me put the bacon and donut on here, I'll do it for free.
That's awesome.
Like, yes, absolutely. I was like, I want, instead of skull, I want like a pig and crossbones. And he's like, yeah. So he drew this and made this up, and people were when he was tattooing. This is my favorite. He was tattooing it, and I'm sitting here like this, and he's like, "What is that?" He's like, "It's a pig and crossbones." And the guy's like, "Oh, that's cool. Hey, Mike, do you want any weed?" And he's like, "I don't know. Should I ask the cop right here that I'm tattooing?" And he's like, and he leaves. And I just started laughing. We started laughing. We're like, "Who does that?" Like, walked in. You don't even know me, dude. Just because I guess you thought I didn't like cops, but you know, it was my way to say I was a cop. You know, it's my humor.
The things that go on in tattoo shops.
Yeah, and then
that'll be another episode.
Yeah, like my whole arm is like pretty much, you know, Mike, and so this one was just so fun, and it's a great starter. Even when I was a police officer, if someone had tattoos and they were being like jerky, I'd be like, "Oh, I got tattoos too," and they'd be like, "Where?" Because at the time I was elbow up, you know. I'm like, "Oh," and that's the first one I'd show. And how are you going to be a douche to the guy that's showing you a pig and crossbones tattoo with bacon in uniform? You can't. But you know, it was, and I'd always tell Mike that. I was like, "Mike, you have no idea how many times this tattoo got me to calm a situation down that people should not have been like to me. But because of this, they're like, all right, you're cool. You know, I don't like cops, but you're cool."
Yeah.
But
yeah, and so, speaking of Big Mike, my favorite tattoo, he actually did Olivia's name here on my throat.
Yeah.
One of I got 3 pieces from Mike. I got my hand, I got my throat, and he got my Ernest. You know, from Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scared Stupid, big portrait on my thigh.
All right, so this one is for the guests that are watching. Hope you liked it. So, where is it? All right, this one's a good one. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
30 seconds. Repeat that question again.
If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say, Matt? What would Matt Meade say to the world if you had him for 30 seconds?
I need 5 seconds.
What would it be?
I grew up when you didn't. I'm never going to stop saying gay and retarded.
That is a conversation I've had many of times, and I've been very, very good at watching how I say those words and taking them out of my vocabulary. But if you get, like, if I'm playing video games at home, just relax playing, and I'm not thinking, that those words will come out, and I'm like, oh, like if my kids were there, I'm like, sorry, like. But my daughters have learned. They're like, we know, Dad, we know you didn't mean it like that. I'm like, no, I didn't mean it like that, because that's not what it meant when I was a kid.
Right.
But
I'm
in
an HR's
normal
nightmare
conversations,
wherever I
I've done
work.
very good as an adult to remove that from my language. But if you're you're sitting around comfortable, not paying attention to what you're talking about, that's a tough one. Okay, here you go. What's the recent trend you can't stand? Ooh, you can answer that too,
I don't
Luz.
follow trends. I don't, not at all. I mean, if I catch wind of a trend, it's most of the time it is
TikTok
after the trend's already passed, or something, or it's well into its little phase before I find out about it. I don't watch TV. We watch a couple things here and there on Netflix, a couple programs my wife and I like to watch, but outside that, I flip through YouTube and I go down rabbit holes of videos or reaction videos or stuff like that, or I'm just thumbing through social media, or I'm just not even on it at all. But I don't get caught up in all the trends and stuff. So I mean, you can tell me which one's trending right now, and I'll tell you how stupid I think it is.
I hate like today's the kids that they use the slang these days, like no cap and all that shit. Like that shit drives me crazy. I can't stand that shit.
My
I don't like the dancing, the TikTok, when they're like, they're not even dancing, they're just like.
My nephew, he's into the squatted trucks and stuff, and his little buddies the other day, we were outside and he was fixing something, and his buddy, asked if I thought it was gay, and I said, well, I'm going to put it like this, when I was growing up, we had hydraulics and airbags and stuff, and the generation older than me, 10 years or so older, 12 years, 15 years old, they thought that shit was stupid. You're fucking the truck up, we're taking the suspension off, blah, blah, blah. But they were also the generation that had a huge tire in the back and, sat down in the front like this. And so I think that we all get caught up in hating on, a generation's style, because the generation before us hated our music, they hated our style, and so on and so forth. And it's going to continue to go on. So I don't try to get too involved in it, but
Josh Hankin wanted you to know that squatter trucks suck.
Yes,
Clayton Bloom said face tattoos. Just kidding, Matt.
Yes, face tats. They are.
Hey.
Yeah, they were the trend that never picked up too well. So dude pierced his taint one night and wiped it at a house party, his mom's house for the bar. Just got to be some.
Wow. Elise, are you saying bra is the word you don't like? Bra?
Bruh.
Or are you just saying bra? Bra.
Bruh.
Mine say, and it drives me bananas. Literally. Literally. I'm like,
I'd much prefer the bruh than the bra.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Mine's bro. I worked in Jersey for a couple months at a prison and learned the word bro, and I couldn't stop it, get it out of my. Everything was bro.
I still say dude.
Back up, bro.
So.
Bro.
Yeah, everything with me is bro. It's definitely bro, or if you're really, really close to me, I'm just going to say brother. But if I call you bro, you're definitely at least a friend. If not, you're just dude or bud. Catch bud.
So I got this one goes with that because it makes me laugh. If you could only use one word for the rest of your life, what word would you choose? That's what I said. Fuck. It's a noun. It's an adjective. It's a.
That's my word, baby.
Plural, singular. Whew.
One word though. Can it really be just one word? Does it feel like you got at least have like?
Fuck. It's my favorite word. I that word is like the to me. You know. Fuck the. Yeah. It's. You know, I wish I had friends that are from Boston because they make it sound cooler when they say it. You know, like. Those are always my favorite, you know, the good Boston accent with the whoop, you know. We just watched The Departed last night. Great movie, you know, classic. But I'm just them talking back. I'm just like, this is so cool. Like, say it. Come on, guys, get in the car. No one's playing this game. Oh, wait, here we go. Melissa says a Capri. Those are popular cards. Remember that? The Capris. And then what would you want to be remembered as? Or what would you want to be remembered for? Ooh, that's deep. Deep.
Giving more of myself to others than I give to myself. That I generally like, love you people more than I love myself.
It reminds me of that picture with the dad and the silhouette, the dad and the son hold hands, and he's got holes in them. The dad's got all these holes, and the son's fine because he took all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So this one gets it off because this is a serious question now. You know, I try to end on a joke, but when I found this question, I knew this was very important to any of my fans on here, any of these people joining us tonight. Please type it in. We'll read what you're saying. But I do want to know this. So here it is. Ready? So you've been given an elephant. You can't get rid of it. What would you do with it? So deep. So deep.
I'd give it to you, Travis.
You can't get rid of it.
I'm not. I'm gifting it to you.
Oh, that's a cheap thing.
Not getting rid of it.
Matt, what would you,
watching it for me.
What would you do with it? What would you do with an elephant if you got one? Couldn't get rid of it.
I would get on it. I would get online and I would find a sex offender register and I would start stomping through every sex offender's home.
Oh, I like
hopefully it. Squashing them in the process and just keep moving on down the line.
I dig it.
All you'd have to do is get like a little speaker in your back, you know, and plug it in and just play da 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 da, and all the sex offenders would come out to it. They're like, "Oh
God!"
Just played some ice cream music on the back of my elephant.
Yep. That's it.
Here you go. What's your favorite pizza topping? That's a good one, guys.
There's not a single one. I'll tell you, my favorite pizza is pepperoni, mushroom, black olive.
Pepperoni, mushroom, no black olive, but pepperoni, mushroom, yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Pepperoni and bacon is pretty good.
My favorite pizza.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's an opinion, sir. What about you, Luce?
Pineapple and jalapeno.
All right, folks. Unfortunately, she just ended the show. So pineapple and jalapeno. Okay.
Sweet and hot.
I like pineapple on my pizza, Lucy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Good Hawaiian pizza. There's nothing wrong with Hawaiian pizza.
Good. You should try it. Try it.
Yeah. No, pineapple pizzas are good. That's fine. You know,
especially if you do barbecue sauce instead of the red sauce with the pineapple.
Yeah.
Barbecue, like do the chicken bacon or Hawaiian chicken bacon one at Papa John's with the barbecue sauce base. That shit's really good.
Yeah. Up here we got the CPK and they had some really good stuff like that. I don't know what Chris is saying. Chris is saying ham and pineapple, but his sister's allergic to pineapple, so that's pretty messed up. Are you trying to kill her? This guy over here, Chris, is like, yeah, he's like, he knows that she won't eat it. Yeah, she won't eat it. So
no, good call.
Pizza. Yeah, I get it. Straight cheese. At least that's because you've been going to Legends Cafe in Fruitland Park, or I guess it's Legends Bar and Grill now, but their straight cheese pizza is the best. That's why I always tell everybody, I'm like, go to Legends and just get a cheese pizza. You're welcome. Don't put any toppings on it. Just get cheese. It is so freaking good. I love that place.
I've never.
Whenever I come home, I always got to go there, get me some wings, Parmesan garlic wings, and some cheese pizza.
I mean, I know this isn't my pod or my YouTube channel, opinionated everybody when it does come out. But my opinion, and you're going to hate it, is that if you're over 16 years old and you're eating a cheese pizza, you need to get a hold of yourself, man.
You call you a bitch.
You really,
yeah.
Really do.
Well, I have 6 children, so you know.
But you're just like,
drop the mic
God,
real quick. Mic drop.
Is the best.
Mic drop.
Come on, man.
It is.
You're buying your money.
So no matter what you put on it,
get a fucking topping on it, man.
Whatever I'm saying, whatever you put on the pizza, it's delicious because the cheese pizza is amazing. That's what I'm saying. That's how good it is. And when you have that many kids, you get cheese and tell them if they want pepperoni. Oh well, that's what you do. Because 4 of them want cheese, 2 of them want pepperoni. You're like,
off. That's what you tell them.
Exactly.
Pick the pepperoni off? No, I touched it.
See, everybody was worried about this world. We're going to leave behind for our kids and all this stuff that we do, but we ain't doing shit to leave the better kids behind for this world because we're catering to them. You pick the damn pepperonis off the pizza if you don't want pepperoni.
That's right.
Or get a damn job.
Buy your own fucking pizza.
Josh said he would wonder how the hell did he feed an elephant. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Elise has got her super classic, but yeah, it's been fun, guys. I love our hour together on Wednesdays.
Yeah, it was great.
Next Wednesday, I think me and Lucy are working on a guest. So, right, Luce? You said you're going to talk about it? Okay. So we're working on that. I will not have this background next week because I won't be here. So I will be in a different mode. I'll be like this, talking on my phone. But it still works. It's just my beautiful chair, my new chair that I got. Ooh, look at that. The gamer chair. But yeah, next week, 8:00, until whenever, like it always is. I would like to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Also, if you all know, we try not to talk every episode, but we are I'm doing a little thing for Big Mike. So if any of you on here want to be a part of that video, just get with me and I'll do a real quick interview with you. And I'm putting something together real nice for the family because, they're my family too. And that's what I want to do. That's what we're doing.
Getting pictures together? Or is it just a video?
No, I got a video and then I'm going to do a couple just like this while I have them, just record it and they'll say some really cool things and I'll splice it with everybody's. And
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Love you, Francois. If you're still on here watching, I saw you were on earlier.
Yeah. So if you guys want, just hit me up on Facebook, message me, and we'll set up a date and time so we can sit down and get it done. But everybody else, thank you so much. Thanks for all the fun entertainment. And see you next week.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, always, buddy. You know it. Luce,
Matt,
I'll see you next week when we have a new guest.
Yeah. Bye,
everybody. Bye, guys.
No.